Hello you lot, Miller Corner here, welcome back once again and welcome to a certain Mr. HubNut.
Hello.
Now this is Ian from the HubNut YouTube channel and your ethos is kind of similar to mine, would that be fair?
Yeah, it's fun with affordable motors.
This is it, that's what we're all about, cheap little nuggets. And I'm not just talking about the Super Seicento, because today you might notice we've been joined by an arch rival, because what we've got here is the Daewoo Matiz. In this particular case, Ian's one known as Myrtle, and there's a bit of a rivalry going on between these two cars.
Oh yes.
Because when they were new, the Matiz was designed by Giugiaro and pitched to Fiat as a successor for the Cinquecento. They ultimately turned it down and went with the in-house design that is the magnificence of the Seicento. Question is, 20 years down the line when we've got two different cars from two very different manufacturers, which one's better?
Who knows?
We're going to find out. So jump over to the HubNut channel. You're going to be able to see a full road test of the Super Seicento, which is a bit of an alien experience seeing someone else road test it, but there you go, jump on there. Meanwhile, I'm going to take out lovely Myrtle there and find out if there's been anything that I've been missing out on. So before we even go for a drive in the Matiz, I want to give you a quick walk around of this little city car that was a direct rival to the Seicento back in its day. They were around the same sort of time, they cost the same sort of money, they were compared in magazines and in group tests. So let's see what the other side was like back in the day. This being the SE model, not the SE Plus, we sadly don't get the decadent 3-spoke alloy wheels. In true HubNut fashion, that does mean they are easy to leave tatty. So, you know, no points off for that one. We've got the Giugiaro design giving us quite a nice sort of happy, honest face. It's just nice and cuddly. It's not an aggressive or a cool car, but it's lovable to look at. It's very narrow and very tall, so I'm told this does make for some comedy handling characteristics. You will also note we've got back doors on the Matiz, which we obviously don't have in the Seicento, and this means we can actually get people in the back of the car, which is something you can't do in a Seicento because of course you have to move the seat forward and get the person out and then kind of wiggle things backwards and forwards and stuff. The solution is to do what I've done with the Seicento, put some Subaru seats in it that are far too big for anyone to fit in the back anyway. Practical. You really do get a flavour for how tall and narrow this car is. I mean, it doesn't look in any way balanced even sitting still, does it? Had this been the Seicento back in the day, it would have fitted in with the design language of the Multipla, because it doesn't take a stretch of the imagination to see that alongside the Multipla with some Fiat badges on it. Does it? We've got no kind of luxurious trimming. We've just got hard plastic, hard plastic, hard plastic. The headlight adjuster switch has gone missing, so we've got all sorts of lovely and in no way discouraging stickers. They add horsepower, so Ian, do not take those off, it will make the car slower. Your dashboard is resolutely simple. Speedo with mileometer, fuel gauge, and complete decadent luxury for Seicento owners, a temperature gauge, so you can actually tell what the bloody hell your engine is doing. There is altogether more storage, including a glove box, than you get in the Seicento, as well as passenger's airbag. We didn't get dual airbags in any model of UK Seicento, and I've taken my driver's one out, so safe. I've just noticed this, I didn't even see this before, a cup holder, which is one more than the Seicento has. Stick your drink in there, it won't fall over. Fiat, are you listening? In the back, a reasonable amount of space, to be fair. Some actual legroom for a human being, which again, for anyone used to a Seicento, is a completely alien concept. Things you do notice are the little reasons why Daewoo perhaps didn't get the respect that Fiat did. For instance, when you shut the door, you can probably hear that kind of hollow metallic rattle. It's just not quite as luxurious or nice or complete as even a Fiat is. And let's be honest, the Seicento is not the epitome of high quality luxury. That is not particularly good. Under this tiny little lightweight bonnet that you can lift one-handed, an 800cc, 50 horsepower, 3-cylinder engine. I know very little about this engine, and quite apart from the fact it's obviously got M-Tech for Matiz Tech, which yes is the Daewoo version of V-Tech, 3-pot engines sound wicked. You could get this with a 4-cylinder, don't. Go for a 3-pot car, and we're going to find out now why. Now I'm told by Ian that it does like to be thrashed, a la Super Seicento, so Let's see what Myrtle's got, shall we? First things first, we've got to get out of this little industrial estate where we've met up, and that alone is proving to be a lovely experience in the Matiz, because it's a very, very easy car to move around. It's very narrow, as we said. The steering is so light. I've never felt steering this light and this nimble. Even the Punto, with its modern day, modern car steering, wasn't this light to chuck around. The Matiz, responsive to the finest touch. So I think without further ado, let's give it a little bit out of here. Oh, what a noise! Oh, that is an awesome sound. Oh, it's proper howly. That is a wicked little noise for such a little car. Bit more. Woohoo! That is immediately brilliant. I like that already. I'm very high up, I've got very good visibility, I've got a massive windscreen like some sort of people carrier, I've got quarter lights. This is altogether a really, really easy car to sit in traffic in, and of course it's so narrow and so short that frankly you can fit in any gap. This is the same sort of size as a Seicento, but altogether it feels more spacious. It feels like I've got more legroom, I've got a lot more headroom. This is only a small car, but it feels big. The windscreen is a long old reach away. The glove box I cannot reach unless I lean over to it. The passenger's door I can just about touch with one hand, but not with the ease that I can in a Seicento. This is altogether a bigger car. It's a small car that feels big. And you know what? The other thing I've just noticed, being a very small, very light car, rides really well. Oh, that's a good noise. And you know what? 50 horsepower, 0.8 litre 3-cylinder, it's not even that slow. It's just a nice driving position, this. And that noise! The steering, so light. Oh, when you really get into the steering, it feels very top heavy. And that's coming from a Seicento owner, that feels top heavy. Not much feel through the steering, but it is direct, it is light, it is responsive, but that top heaviness is, oh, that's almost disconcerting. This is a really nice little car to thread through town, so let's see what happens when we give it a bit, shall we? Oh, what a noise! That's a tiny, tiny little postage stamp making noises like a bloody V6. It dominates everything else about the driving experience, and I get now why Ian loves this so much for the noise. It's just awesome, proper little firecracker. It wants you to drive it hard. Oh, going for 4th gear now. It's not fast, you can probably tell. It does not pick up speed quickly. But once you're at it, once you're kind of up to speed and you keep your foot down because you want to because of that bloody noise, it's okay. It kind of picks up speed quite nicely. It's not fast, but you know what? Who said a little nugget had to be? Who said it couldn't just be making you feel like you're going fast? And if that's what you want, the Matiz is brilliant for it. The energy is ridiculous. It's so keen to just go. It's a proper little zing. Oh, that's a lot of body roll. That's 50. 60. Yeah, it's not fast, you can probably tell. I don't care. It's such a busy little instrument. This is what small cars are about. There's no gimmicks, there's no, oh, let's pretend to be a hot hatch. Here's a small car, rev the nuts off it, spank it, and it'll thank you for it. And frankly, the Matiz does what it should do in that regard amazingly well. It's a wicked, wicked little hoonable nugget. It's more about the experience and the fact you enjoy it. It doesn't have to be perfect. This car's not quick. The gear change isn't brilliant, but forget all of that. Ignore it. Concentrate on just pushing it to its limits and not lifting off. And that is what tiny little crappy cars like this are all about. Oh. I think that's the point with bare bones basic little cars like this. They're not going to set the world alight, they're not going to be the fastest, most exciting, most lust-worthy thing out there. But I don't care. It's such an excitable little animal. It's a tiny little hamster that wants to come out to play. The other thing about small cars like this is the character, it's the bonds you form with them. This particular Matiz, Ian actually bought new in 1999, had it 18 months, and then he swapped it for a Subaru Impreza Sport, which he crashed within 2 days, but we'll gloss over that one. But the point is, he missed this car so much, he ended up asking around if anyone knew this car with this number plate and knew where it had gone. He eventually found it from a previous owner who was just Googling their own number plate, found his online post, got in touch with him, and he bought his own car back. Love it. He was without it for 15 plus years, but he loved it enough that he tracked it down, he bought it back, and it's most likely now in his life forever. And you know what? As someone who is hanging on to a car significant enough to them that they want to keep it for their entire life, and a small, lovable little nugget like this thing is, I can relate to that. It's a wonderful story, and frankly, it's a wonderful little car. Do I regret choosing the Seicento over the Daewoo Matiz as my first car, as my daily driver? No. I love the Seicento, it's a wonderful, wonderful car, and that particular one, the Super Seicento, will stay with me forever. That's a fact. It's my little buddy and I adore it. However, do I like the Daewoo Matiz? Absolutely I do. I absolutely love the way it looks. I love how practical and usable it is for such a small car. I love that soundtrack. And I love the fact that these are so cheap. It's hard to say objectively whether the Matiz or Seicento is better, but driving the Matiz, I don't think there's any real losers here. So that is the drive in the effie little Matiz completed, and look who's turned up, look what's back. The Super Seicento's here, don't you worry, it wasn't going to leave for long. Mr. Seabrook, your thoughts, sir?
I don't think I can give too much away. You're going to have to watch my own video to see what I make of this fantastic little car.
He's good. He's more professional than I am. That is brilliant. Big fan. I will concede. Excellent. But as I said, I think the best thing we can say is it's kind of good in a way that Fiat rejected that, because rather than one, we've got two awesome little cars.
That's true.
To have fun with. You can get both for peanuts. They're good fun. Yeah. Check out HubNut to see what he thought of this little nugget. We'll catch you very soon, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Oh, stormy!
Storm's brewing. We're going to run. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.